Good morning, my dear students. I would like to thank you all very much for rendering your due attention to my class. In the previous classes, we discussed about what is philosophy, the distinction between the science and philosophy, the nature of philosophy, and we have known the differentiation between the two theories, between empiricism and rationalism. And in the last class, we discussed about the scientific theory of realism, the theory of John Locke. Today, I would like to pick up a new topic, that is subjective idealism of Berkeley. Now, let me change your direction. Here you see the topic subjective idealism of Berkeley, and you can see here the picture of Judge Berkeley. Now I would like to divide this theory, subjective idealism, into three portions. The first portion is theory of immaterialism of Berkeley and how Berkeley became an idealist. Why Judge Berkeley is known as an idealist. The second portion is arguments for the subjectivity of primary qualities. Now, in connection with this portion, we have to discuss that all the qualities, both primary and secondary qualities, are subjective. And the third portion is Berkeley's arguments for non-existence of matter. Now, before we continue the subject matter of the subjective idealism of Berkeley, let us know something about Judge Berkeley. Judge Berkeley was an Irish philosopher. His primary achievement was the advancement of a theory he called immaterialism. His theory immaterialism is known as subjective idealism, or it is also known as mentalism. Judge Berkeley was one of the three famous British empiricists. The other two are John Locke and David Hume. You can see the other two philosophers along with Judge Berkeley. The middle one is David Hume. We will learn a topic called Theory of Causality in Unit 8 of David Hume. And the last one is, John Locke. John Locke was the empiricist, the British empiricist who established empiricism, and he is the philosopher who propounded the theory of scientific realism. When we come to the topic of subjective idealism of Berkeley, according to Judge Berkeley, what we finds that all the abstract ideas are the source of all philosophical perplexity and illusion. Now, when we study any idea in our life, or when in our mind, what we find is that something difficulty in our thought and something illusion we feel. These illusions and the perplexity are caused by the abstract ideas, are caused by the creation of the abstract ideas in our mind. According to him, matter is nothing but a cluster of qualities. We have to keep this in our mind. Now here, you see the pictures. Picture of color and taste. This picture represents the taste of fruit, and the third one represents a sphere, the shape of the sphere, and the last one is a box, a cube here. Box and a cube belongs to primary qualities, and the color and the taste of the fruit. The two pictures represents the secondary qualities. But here, in connection with the subjective idealism, both the primary and secondary qualities are subjective, and their existence depend on our mind, our consciousness. This idea is discovered from his line, matter is nothing but a cluster of qualities, and all the things are dependent on our mind. This is the main emphasis given by Judge Berkeley. Therefore, Berkeley argues that the existence of a thing consists in its being perceived. Now he described this in his Latin words, in a Latin phrase, esse is percipi. Esse is percipi means existence is perception. If existence is there, perception must be there. If perception is not there, there will be no existence. This is the main concept of Judge Berkeley. Now let us see the relation between mind and objects. According to Judge Berkeley, what we find is that the extra mental existence of objects cannot be proved. Say, for example, let us see the picture here. A picture represents our mind and the objects of the world. Now here, let us come to the position of A. The mind of the person can perceive an idea here. Secondly, the person can perceive a flower, the color of the flower. Then, thirdly, when we come to the position of C, the person can perceive the noise of a sound. A thing produces some sound. The person can perceive. All these things, what the person can perceive in his mind, are the ideas. They exist. But their existence are dependent on our minds. But when we come to the positions D, the mind of the person cannot perceive anything here. It is vacant. Nothing is here. He can perceive anything. So if the mind does not perceive anything, just Berkeley assumed that there is no existence. And he come to the conclusion that thought or our consciousness is the ultimate reality, and the world of objects is dependent on consciousness. Therefore, he says that the extra mental existence of objects cannot be proved. Extra mental existence. It means that the existence of a thing which is beyond the reach of our mind. That is extra mental existence of objects. It cannot be proved. So from this we know that the ultimate reality is our consciousness. Then there is the relation of, there is the definition of mind. Now let us know something about mind and how just Berkeley described mind. According to just Berkeley, what we find is that mind is the ultimate reality. Mind is also known as consciousness. Mind or consciousness is the ultimate reality. Perception of ideas are not created by mind. Mind cannot create any idea from where there is nothing. Now from this we can see that the world and its primary and secondary qualities are nothing but perception or ideas of our minds. All the things exist in this world are nothing but perception or ideas of our minds. And John Locke says that these ideas are communicated to us by God, who is the cause of our sensations. Just Berkeley mentioned here that God is the cause of our sensations. The word God, the existence of God is mentioned here by Berkeley, and God is nothing. It is the infinite mind. Now Berkeley admits the existence of two realities. One is finite mind and another one is infinite mind. The existence of all the things depends on either finite mind or infinite mind. Thus, Berkeley denies the existence of external world apart from the mind. So, he does not believe in the existence of any substance or any other matter behind the world of qualities except mind. Mind is the ultimate reality. There is no any other realities, any other existence except mind. So his philosophy, his theory gives main emphasis on the existence of mind. Now in the conclusion, let us see. Berkeley concludes that our mind and their ideas are the only realities and there is no world outside. Objects have no existence apart from their relation to our sensibility. If we think an object exists, it must be perceived by our mind. The mind does not perceive, then the object has no existence. So Locke says there can be no object without a subject to know it, and there can be no existence of things which are beyond the consciousness of the perceiving subject. There must be a perceiver, and he can perceive the existence of the objects. If the perceiving subject does not perceive the existence of the object, then the object has no existence. There is nothing. There is nothing beyond the consciousness of our mind. The ultimate reality is the mind, the consciousness. This is the theory of idealism of Berkeley.